Some
Remember those
stars of a
crazy days
popular
when we all
auction
sat
show took
glued
a
to our
break at
TV
Keeley and
screens
never
watching
returned
Storage
to your
Wars?
screens. What
We
really
watched
happened
as
to
people
them?
bid on
165 where?
mysterious storage
155,
units,
165 here,
hoping to find
175 now.
hidden
I got
treasures
165,
inside.
175,
It was
185,
like watching a
185 chickens.
real-life
No.
treasure hunt
100,
every
go ahead.
single
5 and a half,
episode.
55, 50. I got 500
The show
here,
had
5 and a half,
everything.
555.
Drama, surprises, and some really unforgettable characters who became household names. But that was years ago, and you might be wondering what happened to all those familiar faces. Where did they go after the cameras stopped rolling? Some of their stories will absolutely shock you, while others will warm your heart. Today, we're going to catch up with the biggest stars from Storage Wars and find out exactly what they've been up to. Trust me, you won't believe what some of them are doing now. Let's start with the guy everyone loved to hate, Dave Hester. You remember Dave, right? He was the one who would shout, "Yope!" at every auction, and it would echo through those storage facilities like a battle cry. Dave was basically the villain of the show, and he played that role perfectly. He always wore black clothes and had this intimidating look that made other bidders nervous. But here's the thing about Dave. He wasn't just putting on an act. He really knew the storage auction business inside and out, because he had been running his own thrift store long before the show even started. Now, Dave's story takes a pretty dramatic turn. He actually got fired from the show, and it wasn't for a small reason. Dave claimed that the whole show was fake and that the producers were planting valuable items in storage units to make the show more exciting. He even sued the network over this, which caused a huge scandal in the reality TV world. The lawsuit eventually got settled, but it made a lot of people question whether what they were watching was real or not. After all that drama, Dave decided to step away from television completely. He started his own auction and consulting business, which was probably a smart move since he knew the industry so well. But life had another surprise waiting for Dave. In 2018, he had a serious stroke that changed everything. The stroke was caused by high blood pressure and sleep problems, and it was so severe that Dave had to relearn how to do basic things like walking and talking. It's hard to imagine the tough guy from TV having to go through something so difficult. The good news is that Dave survived and recovered, but the experience completely changed his perspective on life. He moved to Alaska with his family and is now living a much quieter life. He's semi-retired and focusing on spending time with his wife and 2 kids. It's amazing how life can completely change someone's priorities. The man who used to live for the thrill of winning storage auctions is now just happy to be healthy and surrounded by people who love him. Next up, let's talk about Dan and Laura Dotson, the auctioneers who made every storage unit sound exciting. These two were the heartbeat of every Storage Wars episode. Dan would talk so fast during auctions that sometimes you could barely keep up, while Laura would spot bidders from across the room. They worked together like a perfectly oiled machine, and you could tell they genuinely loved what they were doing. The coolest thing about Dan and Laura is that their love story actually started at an auction. They met while working in the auction business and fell in love over their shared passion for selling stuff. How romantic is that? They built their business, American Auctioneers, together and became one of the most respected auction companies in Southern California, long before they ever appeared on television. Unlike many reality TV stars who fade away after their shows end, Dan and Laura are still going strong. They never really left the auction business. The TV show was just a fun addition to what they were already doing. Today, they're still running American Auctioneers and hosting auctions all over California. They've expanded beyond just storage units too. Now they handle estate sales, business closures, and even charity events. What's really sweet is that you can tell from their social media that they're still just as in love as they were when they first met. They post pictures from their auctions and give tips to people who want to get into the business. They're living proof that you can have a successful business partnership and a happy marriage at the same time. Dan and Laura show us that sometimes reality TV stars are exactly who they appear to be on screen. Now let's talk about Daryl Sheets, who everyone called the gambler because he wasn't afraid to spend big money on storage units. While other people might bid $100 and call it a day, Daryl would throw down thousands if he thought a unit had potential. This bold strategy sometimes backfired, but when it worked, it really worked. Daryl's biggest success story is legendary among Storage Wars fans. He found a collection of artwork by Frank Gutierrez that was worth over $300,000. Can you imagine opening a storage unit and finding something worth more than most people's house? Barry's approach to storage auctions was completely different from everyone else. He wasn't calculating potential profits in his head. He was just looking for cool stuff that caught his eye. Sometimes he would get excited about items that weren't worth much money, but you could tell he genuinely loved collecting unique things. This made his segments really fun to watch because you never knew what would make him happy. After 4 seasons on Storage Wars, Barry decided to leave the show in 2015. But his fans loved him so much that he got his own spin-off show called Buried Treasure. The show followed Barry as he traveled around the country, looking for rare collectibles in all kinds of places, not just storage units, but also barns, estate sales, and private collections. Even though the show only lasted 8 episodes, it gave fans a chance to see Barry doing what he loved most. Barry also appeared in another spin-off called Storage Wars Barry Strikes Back, where he and another cast member looked back at memorable moments from the original show. These spin-offs proved just how popular Barry was with viewers. He had this magical ability to make even the most ordinary situations entertaining. But Barry's story took a scary turn in 2019 when he was in a serious motorcycle accident. He suffered multiple broken bones and internal injuries that required him to spend a long time in the hospital. For a while, it wasn't clear if he would fully recover. Thankfully, Barry did recover, but the accident probably made him think differently about taking risks. After his recovery, Barry found a new career path that might surprise you. He became a spokesperson for casinos in Northern California, doing voiceover work and promotional appearances. It's not what anyone expected, but it shows that Barry's personality is still just as charming as ever. He's proof that sometimes life is a mess. Unfortunately, Brandi and Jared's story doesn't have a happy ending. The couple broke up in 2018, and their split was pretty messy. There were public arguments that got caught on camera by entertainment reporters, and Brandi accused Jared of not being a good father to their children. It was sad to see a couple that had seemed so solid on television going through such difficult times in real life. Since the breakup, Brandi has been active on social media, staying connected with fans while keeping most of her personal life private. She even got a tattoo that said "free" in 2021, which seemed to symbolize her moving on from the relationship. Jared, on the other hand, has stayed out of the public eye for the most part. Sometimes reality TV relationships that look perfect on screen are actually struggling behind the scenes. And unfortunately, that seems to be what happened with Brandi and Jared. Renee and Casey Nizota joined Storage Wars during its 4th season and quickly became fan favorites. Renee's German accent made her stand out immediately, and both she and Casey had this infectious enthusiasm for treasure hunting that reminded viewers why storage auctions could be so exciting. Unlike some cast members who left when the show went on hiatus, Renee and Casey came back when filming resumed, showing their dedication to both the show and the storage auction business. What makes Renee and Casey really special is how well they've adapted to the internet age. While many reality TV stars struggle to stay relevant after their shows end, these two have built an incredibly successful YouTube channel. With almost 200,000 subscribers and videos that get millions of views, they've turned their television fame into a sustainable online business. Their YouTube channel lets fans see more of their auction adventures and creates a more personal connection with their audience this way. What's really admirable about Ivy is how he's maintained a good balance between his business success and his family life. He's still happily married to his wife Wendy, and they're raising their 2 sons away from the Hollywood spotlight. A lot of reality TV stars struggle with maintaining normal family relationships, but Ivy seems to have figured out how to do both. Fans were excited to see him return for season 15 of Storage Wars, bringing his trademark intensity back to the show. Brandon Sheets, Daryl's son, appeared on Storage Wars for 8 seasons as the side bet. Watching him learn the auction business from his experienced father was really interesting because you could see how knowledge and instincts were being passed down from one generation to the next. Brandon showed promise as a second-generation treasure hunter and seemed to be developing his own eye for valuable items. Unfortunately, Brandon's time on Storage Wars came to an abrupt end in 2016, when production decided to cut cast members to reduce costs. Brandon didn't handle this news quietly. He posted on social media criticizing the network for firing him due to budget cuts, while still expecting him to do promotional work for free. This public criticism showed that Brandon was ready to move on from both the show and the storage auction business. After leaving Storage Wars, Brandon made some big life changes. He moved to Arizona and became a real estate agent, which is completely different from the storage auction world. He also got married and started building a new life for himself away from television cameras and storage facilities. Sometimes the best thing that can happen to someone is being forced to try something completely different. And it sounds like that's exactly what happened with Brandon. Justin Bryant made Storage Wars history by becoming the youngest cast member ever at just 22 years of age. Emily Wares broke into the auctioneering world at just 17 years old when she completed auction school, which is incredibly impressive. A decade later, she's still turning heads as one of the few women in this male-dominated industry and one of its youngest professionals. Her rapid-fire calling style and confident demeanor challenge stereotypes about who belongs in the auction business. Back in her hometown in Iowa, Emily works alongside her father in their family auction business, creating a touching legacy in an industry where such partnerships are rare. When she came to Los Angeles for Storage Wars, she immediately made an impact with her unique Midwestern accent that threw many of the regular bidders off their game. Instead of backing down when veteran bidders tried to intimidate her, Emily stood her ground with remarkable composure. Emily has called out experienced bidders like Daryl and Renee when they tried to peek inside storage units before bidding, and she's gone toe-to-toe with intimidating competitors like Ivy when they tried to pressure her. Her refusal to be intimidated in a room full of aggressive personalities earned her immediate respect from viewers. Emily's combination of youth, skill, and confidence makes her a refreshing addition to Storage Wars and proves that sometimes the most powerful presence in the room isn't the loudest or most experienced person. As we wrap up this journey through the lives of Storage Wars stars, it's amazing to see how differently each person's story has unfolded. Some have faced serious health challenges, others have found new love, and many have completely reinvented their careers. What they all have in common is that they gave us years of entertainment and showed us that treasure hunting could be both exciting and profitable. The Storage Wars cast members prove that reality TV fame can be a stepping stone to bigger and better things, but it can also come with unexpected challenges. Some have used their fame to build successful businesses, while others have chosen to step away from the spotlight entirely. Their stories remind us that everyone's path through life is different, and success can be measured in many different ways. Whether they're still hunting for treasures, running businesses, focusing on their health, or just enjoying time with their families, these Storage Wars stars have all found ways to move forward after their time on television. Their journeys show us that life is full of surprises, and sometimes the most valuable treasures aren't hidden in storage units. They're the relationships, health, and happiness we build along the way. If you enjoyed learning about what happened to your favorite Storage Wars stars, make sure to hit that like button and share this video with other fans who might be wondering the same thing. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell so you never miss our latest updates on reality TV stars and where they are now. What surprised you most about these Storage Wars updates? Let us know in the comments below.